Hey everybody, and welcome back to my PortSwigger Web Academy series. If you haven't heard about them, PortSwigger is the creative web of Burp Suite, a free security testing tool that researchers, testers, cybersecurity professionals, and companies alike use to assess their security of their web applications. PortSwigger released their Web Academy back in like 2019 or so, and now noobs and pros alike can pretty much try their hand at exploiting OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, business logic, API problems or vulnerabilities, and much more while familiarizing themselves with PortSwigger's Burp tool. So, quick disclaimer here, this is not a paid advertisement, nor am I sponsored in any capacity. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm just a cybersecurity professional looking to help others gain competency while just learning. Really and using the tool and getting better at their craft. So we're currently building on directory traversal in this playlist, but I have a couple of others that I'm working through. So if you ever get stuck with this Web Academy, feel free to just reference those. I give explanations and walk through the solution. So hopefully it will give you the clarity that you need. And if not, feel free to drop a comment in the box below asking questions, and I'll do my best to answer. So without further ado, let's jump to it. Okay, so now we're here on the third lab. So the first and second labs introduce basic directory traversal attacks and overall bad practice for developers that attackers could use to their advantage and exploit an application. But now we're in a third lab, which presents a slightly different scenario. In this case, the developers have implemented a weak filter that non-recursively strips a basic traversal sequence like we did in lab 1. So in case you're wondering what non-recursive means, it basically means that the program or script or library will run through the sequence once and try to identify the pattern right then and there and then remove it. It's not going to check constantly, like it's not going to go through itself over and over again. There's a big issue because once an attacker notices this filter, they can just make a slight adjustment, which we will, and they will still be able to exploit said application. So enough talking, let's go ahead and jump into it. So as the lab reads, again, this lab contains a path traversal vulnerability and display of product images, as it always has. The app strips path traversal sequences from the user supplied file name before using it. To solve, we still got to retrieve the Etsy password file. So let's go ahead and dive into the lab. And I'll just pause it here until we dive in, because who knows? Oh, okay, here we go. So, first thing we do, like you always do, is go look for the product. Open it up. Product ID. That's not what I want. I want the product image. So I'll put the product image into the tag. Okay, here we go. So we have the product image. And just to show you what they mean. So we're going to do, oops. No such file, right? Reading it. Surprised it didn't say, yeah. So it's telling us no such file. It's basically looking at it and saying, nope, we're not going to do this. We know what you're doing here. So instead, what we want to do, instead of just being blatantly obvious like this, and let's even go a little bit more. What is it? 1, 2, 3. I'm putting 2. Okay, making sure. So, they're obviously not letting us in here. They're stripping it, and they're saying that this file doesn't exist. Right, so they're just saying, I guess, imagine saying file name equals blank, saying that there's no file name such as that. So to bypass this control or this filter, what we want to do is add, instead of just blatantly doing this, use like nest the traversal sequences. There's a couple ways to nest the sequences, but in this case, what works is like add a double slash here, another slash here, and another slash here, and then another slash here. I think I have those right. Oh, I do have a copied and paste here, so I'm just gonna. Okay, boom. So we have something here, and obviously we're not going to see it here. We have to see it in the request. So we're going to open up our history, which this was the last one. And what we want to do, this was the request. We want to go to response. This was the response. And that's exactly what we're looking for here. So, as I said before, this control just strips the sequences, and it's in a non-recursive way. So that means if it sees the first instance, then it will strip it like it did here. We clearly nested it. And if you want to know more about nesting, there's a link in the description below taking you to the lab material for this particular lab, talking about nesting sequences. But basically, it took the first instance that how many ever dots slash. It took the first 2 dots, took those out. Then it took the first slash, took that out, left the second set of dots and the second slash, and then it went to the next group, which is this one right here, and took out the first 2 dots, took out the first slash, because it's taking the sequence here. And as you can see, we're still able to, when we nest them, we're still able to get the Etsy password file. So that's pretty much it. I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next lab.